What's going on, guys? This is Dan, or the Optimistic Critic, and I hope you're having a good, great, grand, wonderful day. I certainly am. Last night, I had the opportunity to sit down and see Marvel Studios' new film, Captain Marvel, and I have a lot of thoughts about this movie. And the first thing I'm going to say off the bat is that I loved it. I really, really like this movie a lot. And I'm seeing a lot of criticism online, and I like to be very open and transparent, and I didn't see what other people are seeing. I almost want to go back and watch the movie again, not just because I really want to see the movie again, but because I want to see if maybe like the first time I saw it, I was almost like seeing it wide-eyed and really with high expectations, and I wanted it to meet them. But for right now, I'm going to start with my negatives because I really don't have many. All the rest is just positive. I loved this movie. And my first little nitpick with the film really lies with the film's directors, Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, whose previous filmography really just includes small independent films, a film called Half Nelson starring Ryan Gosling, which I feel is fantastic, and another smaller film called Mississippi Grind starring Ben Mendelsohn, who's actually in this movie, and oh my god, I have a lot to say about how awesome Ben Mendelsohn in this fucking movie, oh my fucking god. And then that movie also stars Ryan Reynolds, and I really don't like that movie very much. Maybe I'll get into that another day. But it was very apparent that this was their first action film, because I felt like in a couple of the fight sequences, one in particular, that I really couldn't tell what was going on. I was watching it and I was like, is that Carol Danvers? Is that a Skrull? It was really dark. I don't know what was happening. But other than that, I felt like they really shined in the first half of the film because it's a really deep character story. And that's where I'm going to start getting into my positives, because really that's all that I have left is positives. I appreciated that the film really took its time to tell the story of this Kree warrior Veers slowly learning that that's not who she is. The reason that she doesn't remember who she was is really much deeper than she realizes, and it goes way farther out into the galaxy than she realizes because she's a human. And the slow journey I thought they took, and the way that they slowly revealed to the audience who Carol was, I really appreciated. Now, as a movie person, as a Marvel fan, I knew that story, but my dad really didn't. I saw the film with my dad, and he really liked the way that they told the story in particular, because he went into it with fresh eyes, had no idea about any of it. So it really, to him, I've seen this film compared to Jason Bourne negatively, saying that Jason Bourne does a better job of revealing somebody's lost memory to the audience. But I really felt like, for a person who's never seen Captain Marvel, doesn't know anything about the character, that was kind of the experience they had, because I didn't feel like the film really told you who Carol Danvers was until she discovered it. So I really, really appreciated that aspect of the film greatly. The next thing I loved about this movie was Samuel L. Jackson. He is always a delight to see in any film, especially a Marvel movie. Nick Fury is the fucking man, but he is awesome in this movie in particular. I think I really, really liked the fact that he was a little wet behind the ears. You know, he was this young, bright-eyed agent, and he's not like this current Nick Fury, bald and brooding and angry about everything. Like, I really liked seeing a younger Nick Fury. You could tell he was younger and he hadn't seen so much shit. Like, at one point in the movie, it kind of becomes like a buddy cop film between Carol Danvers and Nick Fury, and their back and forth in the film is just fantastic. I really, really liked their quick wit and the quippiness and how much they got along, and like, I felt like this friendship chemistry between them from like the very beginning. And I felt like a lot of that, believe it or not, came from Carol Danvers, because she was very she was almost arrogant in a way, and I kind of liked that. I liked how overly confident she was, and she comes to Earth, and like, she's just looking at all of these, to her, as her mindset is, she's looking at all these primitive beings on this primitive planet, and she's just like, oh man, I'm better than you. But it felt like she gained respect for Nick Fury as she got to know him, and I really appreciated that, because how do you not respect Nick Fury? And I really can't talk about Nick Fury without mentioning the cat, Goose, because everybody's saying that's one of the best parts of the movie, and I would argue that it's one of the best parts of the movie because Samuel L. Jackson makes it work. I'm not going to say more than that because this is, like I said, it's a non-spoiler review, but it really goes to another level because Sam Jackson just sells how much he adores this cat. I love it. And then branching off of Samuel L. Jackson, I have to get into the rest of the supporting cast, which was pretty stellar across the board. Jude Law as Yon-Rogg, the Star Force commander in charge of Captain Marvel in the Kree Star Force, was incredible. He's Jude Law. He's always great. And then Annette Bening as who she is in the movie is always fantastic. It's Annette Bening. Like, man, this cast is really, really great. I particularly really liked Lashana Lynch as Maria Rambeau, Carol Danvers' Earth friend in the Air Force. She was really, really good. She really sold those scenes between her and Carol. Carol is looking at her like she's a stranger, and Maria is just sitting there looking at her best friend, and she's full of these memories, and Carol just has none of them, and you can see that sting, and she really sells it with her facial acting and her eyes. It's really, really well done. And then I saved the best for the last of the supporting characters, and that is Ben Mendelsohn as the Kree leader, Talos. Oh my God. I was just constantly surprised by the nuance in his performance and his character and the writing for his character and the Skrulls. Oh my God, my favorite part of the movie. Hands down, the story of the Skrulls. It was so well done. I really liked what they ultimately did with it. That may upset some people. I mean, it's a big thing that they did, but I was responded to it very well. I was like, oh my God, I didn't expect this, and that is what I love about the MCU. People complain all the time about what they did with Ben Kingsley in Iron Man 3 and the Mandarin. I loved that. I loved what they did with him. I really liked how they pulled the rug from under us. I really appreciated that. So I just wow, Ben Mendelsohn is so charismatic, and he is so ruthless, and he is so funny. Oh my God, just so much to him. Ben Mendelsohn really, really, you can tell, had a great time playing this character. And then finally, I left the best for last, and that is our Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. I loved her performance in this movie, and I know I actually understand why a lot of people don't like it, but here's why I really liked it. And I liked it because it was muted. It was a character who was unsure of what was real. She was unsure of who she was, and the one thing she was sure of was herself as a warrior. And she really does. She just, at the beginning of the movie, she just wants to be this Kree warrior. She wants to be this successful Kree warrior. And she learns, like, maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be. Maybe that's not who I am. And throughout the film, her, I feel, human personality just starts to slowly creep out. And you get a sense of who Carol Danvers used to be before she was a part of the Kree. And I really liked that performance from Brie Larson. She was never over the top. She was never too arrogant and cocky to be uncharismatic. And I really, really liked who she was, and I liked that it felt like a stepping stone. This is very much Captain Marvel's first film, and I feel like exactly the way we did with Thor, her character will reveal herself like layers of an onion, okay? Because she's a little bitter at first. She's really kind of, she's got a hard outer layer. And I can't wait to see what the MCU does with her going forward, just to reveal those little layers of her the same way they did with Thor. Because, man, we are at like the gooey, hilarious center of Chris Hemsworth as Thor, and I just want more and more. I can't wait for Endgame, almost particularly because of Chris Hemsworth's Thor. So, overall, those are my thoughts on Captain Marvel. I really, really liked it. Aside from some shoddy action scenes, I thought it was a really, really good movie. I loved the slow pace of the first half. I really liked the story overall. In fact, it was one of my favorite Marvel stories, just period. I really liked how the movie revealed itself. I love this movie. So thanks a lot for tuning in and watching my review of Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. I had a blast watching it. I had a blast making this first movie review. I can't wait to make more, and I hope to see you guys in the comment sections and the subscriber little numbers and everything like that. Thanks a lot for watching, and you guys have a good day.